Is it called? All right, we're just leaving Naples, the Collier Seminole State Park. We had a, I think, almost a week stay here. Pretty good little park. We're heading up to Fort Myers Beach. I think on that last leg, which after lunch we averaged just under 760 watt hours per mile, which I think if you break out the math, it's roughly around 100, just a little over 160 miles of real world range. Now we're not trying to save any range on this trip. We had plenty of, it wasn't a far drive. So we're cranking the air and running whatever speed we want. And then we stopped for lunch and left the dog in the truck on dog mode, which uses power. So roughly, we try to plan usually between 150, 160 miles is generally the range that we see. So Fort Myers Beach, first time there. We've driven by on 75 past Fort Myers on the way to Naples a few years back, but their first time to be able to enjoy the area. We stayed at a Sun Retreats. It's called Sun Retreats Fort Myers Beach. It was at 16175 John Morris Road. Now there was another Sun Retreats just down the road. It wasn't just a couple miles, it seemed. And I believe that was a 55 and up only RV resort park. And the one we stayed at on John Morris Road was all ages. We stayed, as I mentioned, the Sun Retreats. It is a 21-acre resort with, I think, over 300 RV sites. Full hookups, 50, 30 amp electric, water, sewer, Wi-Fi cable at most sites. They had a heated pool and hot tub, open year-round, pickleball courts, shuffleboard, horseshoes. They had really nice laundry on site. They had a small dog park, and only about 5 to 6 miles, I think, from Times Square down at Fort Myers Beach. I'll get into that here in a little bit. Just about 10-minute drive. The resort was fully rebuilt and reopened late 2023, I understand, after Hurricane Ian. The place feels brand new, and it was a really nice park. I'll get into some of the specific details, but brand new place, and the price was fantastic. So the Times Square area on Fort Myers Beach, or down by the pier, is a pedestrian-only part of Fort Myers Beach on the corner of Old San Carlos Boulevard and Estero Boulevard. It's a 7-mile public beach right in front of Times Square. Really nice sand, white powdery sand, and it's known as one of the world's safest beaches, I understand. Almost no undertow, very shallow slope for a long distance as well, so usually safe for the kids to swim. They have a huge fishing pier there. It's, I think, over 500 feet long, and they fully rebuilt that after the hurricane as well, and that was reopened last year, 2024. And the sunsets are great. It faces due west. And I think they redid, they call it renourished the beach in 2024, and it's now wider than it was before the hurricane. But nice little spot. And then also real close nearby, there's Sanibel Island and Lighthouse Beach. You can get there from the Sanibel Causeway. It's a toll road. It's a $9 toll for your cars. I think it was $9 in 2025. And then Lighthouse Beach is literally the first beach you hit after paying the toll. The parking lot is at the eastern tip of the island, and you can see Sanibel Lighthouse was built in 1884. It's still active, and it's one of the few Florida lighthouses you're not allowed to climb or enter. This Sanibel Island and Lighthouse Beach is world famous for shelling, finding seashells, because the island runs east to west, and it catches the shells that the Gulf current pushes in. So there's just shells everywhere for sure. I think after the hurricane, 2022 Hurricane Ian, the storm pushed some record number of large shells, and it was quite the treasure hunting of shells for those people. Some of the best shelling in decades happened in 2023 and 2024. I understand. We just missed it. But yeah, these areas, we visited these areas, and they were both quick drives from the RV park. So down to Times Square and the pier parking, I think it was only like 5 or 6 miles away, about 12 minutes. Sanibel Causeway entrance I think it was a little bit longer. I don't remember it being too much further, maybe 20 minutes or so to get there and get to the Lighthouse Beach parking. But definitely close enough to take a day trip, even just to go cruise around, check it out. Both places were nice. So we chose to continue taking Route 41 up the coast when we left Naples, the last stop, to go to Fort Myers Beach. And our truck, at least as the settings are now, I understand there's a pretty big holiday update where Grok's going to be integrated, and maybe we'll see some changes. But it currently only wants to route you like the fastest way or on the highway. And we can select avoid highways when appropriate or available in the truck, and that's fine, but it doesn't always still pick the route you want to take. And maybe I'd like to see that come. So we we want to see the coast and the towns as much as possible. So we chose to head up Route 41, we've been on that route pretty much since the Everglades, and then came over across Florida. And now we headed north up 41, and it's really neat. The 41 is really nice. And then we pulled into the park, right? It's brand new park, rebuilt after the hurricane. Beautiful park. You got palm trees everywhere, tall palm trees lining the entrance road. They've got really nice landscaping. They take care of everything very well. They've got irrigation down the middle of the strip not in the lots, but during some of the common areas. They have some irrigation running it in the evenings to keep the grass green. Shockingly cheap price though. So I was honestly blown away with the amenities and how nice the place was. We only paid $39 per night, and that's with full hookups. It's a paver site. It was a pull-through site. And I guess it's even cheaper if we would have booked longer. We were only there for, I think, a week, and that was our nightly rate. But if you stayed for a month, it's going to be a cheaper nightly rate. And then there's people there staying, well, there's year-round people there, but seasonal are people there for 6 months or so, and they're paying even cheaper. Now, I'm not sure if that'll change. This might just be getting this park back full after the hurricane, I guess, maybe. And maybe the rates will go up, but it was very, very well priced for what you got. We were actually right next to the pool house, which was awesome. And the laundry was right there, and the shower house was right there. The laundry was very nice. It was only $2 per load, and you can use Tap to Pay or Apple Pay. You don't have to use quarters, which I appreciate. But our site was extremely convenient. Just being right there next, we could just throw a little laundry in or walk over to the pool, and you don't have to pack a whole bag just to, make a long hike or across town or anything like that. It was just really nice being so close. But our pull-through site was not huge. I think it was only 50 feet from tip to tip. So some of the bigger rigs had issues with our site, but they did have plenty of buses there, and Class Super Cs and Class A's and larger rigs than the different sites. So there's places for you if you're large here. Not a huge overall campground itself, park, but some of the sites were much larger than others, and there's some different options. And I mentioned the laundry being nice. The bathrooms in the shower house were extremely nice. Everything looked brand new. A lot of tile work they've done, and they were very clean as well. Way nicer than I expected just going here. They gave you a little key fob that you would use to get in the shower house, and I think the laundry room too, after 8 p.m. And it's just a scan, and it just automatically locked up at 8 p.m. So we get to the park, we get set up, and decided we wanted to go check out the pool. And I mentioned we were right next door, and we only had one neighbor for a couple of days, our week-long stay, and then we had a gap between our site and the next family over. And then on the other side where the slide outs are, we were on the edge, so we didn't have a neighbor there either. The pool, it was very nice. It was very cold the first night we were there. It was advertised excuse me, as being a heated pool. So I think something was just wrong, because they ended up getting it straightened out, and it was the rest of the time we were there, it was quite a bit warmer. Never busy, at least not when we went. A lot of times it was in the evenings or, later afternoon. It just never seemed busy. I think during the day there were some people up there sunbathing, but the pool didn't get used too much, I wouldn't say, at least this time. My son loved to have in the hot tub and the pool right there beside each other. He likes to jump in the hot tub and back in the pool and shock his system back and forth. I think I remember doing that when I was a kid as well. So he had fun. And they had a bunch of amenities too. So the first night we got there, we just kind of explored a little bit. They had a decent little sized arcade with some pretty cool games. And with all this being new, everything was just really in good shape. The rooms were in good shape. You know, the buildings, the carpet, the walls, everything was just it felt really nice. They had a billiards or a pool table in one of the rooms. We also saw they had a fitness room on site. This was all connected kind of off the backside of the check-in area in the camp store. And then they had a playground near the pool as well. We didn't play on it too much. It was a little smaller, probably for younger kids, I would say, a little bit more fun. And then in the back, they had in the back corner of the campground, they had a dog park. It was small, not the smallest we've ever seen, but it was pretty small. Probably okay for smaller dogs or medium-sized dogs, I would say. Lily wasn't too interested in this one. But we were fortunately able to find a large dog park just nearby down the road outside the campground. Oh yeah, and they also had pickleball. My son and I got to play a round or so. We went over a couple different days, and they have a shed, and they give you the combination to it with some of the like the pickleball, the ball and the rackets, and they had some different things there. Anyway, you can get access to it. So they had a giant Connect 4 game. You've probably seen this giant plastic ones, but this one, we got it all out and started to get it set up, but it was broke. My son was into it, and the sliding piece at the bottom that stopped the checkers from falling through was missing. So he found a giant Jenga game, and we went to grab that. Unfortunately, it was infested with ants, so we turned that one down too.
Ants can lift 50 times their weight. 50 times!
And they had bocce ball, and I think soccer billiards is what you would call it. They had these two strips set up, like a pool table, and then they had soccer balls that matched the 9 balls, and then a cue ball. So it was kind of cool. But we played a little bit of pickleball, had some fun. We got to spend a lot of time out on the patio at this place. Some of the campgrounds we go to, you're just kind of in dirt and sand on your patio. You don't have access to any type of paver, concrete, anything like that. You put your mats out, but sometimes they can be buggy, just depending on what state or national park we're hanging out in. This one's so nice, being these brand new pavers, that we were able to stay on. We had like the best weather possible while we stayed in Fort Myers Beach. My son was able, sometimes we get out his VR headset. He loves to play some games, PlayStation and stuff, and you can use them in the camper. It's just a little tighter, so my son was having fun being able to freely walk around on the pavers. Now, this campground, they did not have any picnic tables, and there was no fire pits. We have a few fold-out tables and obviously folding chairs that we could pull out, so it wasn't a big deal. But if it's something you're waiting on, this is probably the first. It's not the first campground we've been to that didn't have fire pits, but I think it's the first one we did that didn't have picnic tables. And I don't know if they plan on adding them later, or it's just something they're doing away with, but just something to keep in mind if that's one of your interests. We were also able to get the RV cleaned up a little bit on the outside. My son helped me tackle the job, did some scrubbing. It wasn't super dirty, but we'd been in the woods for a while and some of these forest campgrounds, and it just needed a little touched up. But it cleaned up pretty well. A quick job. We were glad to get that done. No mud, no dirt. So you can't, if you're sitting there parked in a dirty sand spot and you're dripping water all down, it just splatters all back up on your tires and camper anyway. So this paver setup was really easy to take care of. Some parks don't allow you to clean your RV though. They'll have rules. Or I think we stayed at one in Hilton Head, and it was like a $15 fee to pay to clean. Now, mind you, that resort had tons of buses, and they were bringing in like private companies in their vans, and they were cleaning and probably using a bunch of water. So I'm not sure with our smaller trailer, but they had, at least it was listed at being a $15 fee. But here at this park, no problem, which was great at the Sun Retreats. And then, of course, we ended up back at the pool and the hot tub pretty much every day. I think every day. We usually, like I said, had the place to ourselves. Very nice. The pool heater was up and running at this point too, so it was great. I think it was like 84 degrees, 85 degrees, and we were able to watch sunsets from the pool at night in the hot tub. The sunsets here were epic. We had beautiful pink skies every night. Not something we're used to during December up north, so it was pretty cool. Oh, we did have a little bit of excitement. There was a lizard, small little lizard that got into the camper.
Die! The lizard has been captured. The lizard.
You're so little.
Don't open it again. The lizard is going outside.
Don't yodel!
The lizard is
Got him.
not in the camper anymore. Well, he still is right now, I guess. Okay, bye, little buddy.
My wife saw a small lizard just inside the door, but then it hid and we couldn't grab it. And I checked under the couch. That's where, under our couch is where all the components for our power package lie, the battery and the inverter. And anyway, the easy place to hide for a small lizard. I couldn't find it anywhere. And then a couple of days later, we found him. He was just a little guy. I was able to move him outside to the bushes across the way and give him a new home. So, yeah, luckily we found him. He kind of came back out. I don't know if he was trying to find an exit and he just hung out there, but I was able to grab him. We did check out a couple of lunch spots. So, kind of a fun little space, not too far away on your way to Fort Myers Beach down by a marina they call Doc Ford's Rum Bar and Grill. Really cool setting. They had good food. Fairly busy, I would say. I think this was a Thursday afternoon or Wednesday afternoon. Can't recall. But you can go by car. They have a separate parking lot, and they have their own marina and boat storage. They're kind of connected. But you can also go by boat. So they have a handful of docks out front, and a lot of people did boat in, and we're taking advantage of that. But yeah, cool little spot. We didn't see a ton of wildlife in the campground as expected, but there was a turtle found, or Lily found, I guess, back behind the dog park fence. My wife had taken her that morning. It seemed wet, so there must be access to a pond or creek or drainage ditch somewhere nearby. But from there on out, we couldn't walk around without Lily dragging us over to try to look for this turtle. We didn't see it again after that morning. We did, as I mentioned, check out Sanibel Island. One early evening, we went over there. Not far at all, easy little drive. It is a toll road. You don't stop and pay. It's a pay by plate or by pass, and then you can bill later by plate, or I think you can go online and pay it as well. There's quite a few toll roads in Florida, actually, and maybe because in my past, most of my traveling through Florida down to Florida was like just straight up on the 75. We're taking a lot of more coastal roads, and a lot of them have been toll roads, it seems. But yeah, we cruised the island a bit, checked out the beach a little bit, as I mentioned, and they had some kind of Christmas festival. This might have been a Friday night, so some kind of Christmas event. Most of the businesses were all participating and well lit up. They had paper bags on the bike trails lined up where they had candles lit or little LED lights. I'm not sure which. And they a bunch of people are out riding bikes and golf carts running around. A lot of them had Christmas lights hung around the cart and they threw the bikes. But cool little island. I definitely think at least that night you could get around by bicycle faster than vehicle. We were just kind of bumper to bumper with everything that was going on, just creeping through the main road there. But then, yeah, the next day we decided we wanted to head over to Fort Myers Beach over the bridge. We had ate at that restaurant, Doc Ford's Rum Bar and Grill, and that was kind of under the bridge to go to the island itself. But we went all the way over the bridge the next day on that Saturday. I really like this area. A lot happening. I understand it was hit pretty hard by the hurricane, and was now back almost to full strength. A lot of things had been closed. But they had outside market set up. They had selling different things over by Times Square. There was a really cool poinsettia Christmas tree they had set up wrapped around a palm tree on the beach. We got some pretty good photos with that. They had food trucks set up right next to the beach, and they were set up on foundation. So I'm not sure if these buildings were here before the Hurricane Ian and they had been taken down, or if this had been flattened for a while, or what the deal was. But they were fairly permanent set up food trucks. They had a lot of outdoor seating. There was bands playing. Pretty cool, pretty neat. It was definitely a happening spot. We grabbed lunch over at a local tiki hut spot. It was pretty cool. They had good scenery. We were sitting out on a deck patio. Food was good too, and I think the pricing was fairly reasonable. And then, of course, we checked out the local ice cream shop right there on the beach. Advertised 200, or I'm sorry, I think it was 2,000 flavors. I've seen a few of these, and I'm curious, generally I would think they meant 2,000 ice cream flavors, but when you walk in, I mean, there can't be more than 20 sitting there in the cooler, so I'm not sure if they just mean each additional sprinkle or Oreo or something they put on top would compound out to 2,000. Let me know if you do. And then after we left there, we wanted to check out that larger dog park for Lily. When we go to the beach or we go to the island or anything, we take Lily with us in the truck, and she can stay. She sleeps in the truck. She prefers it. She enjoys being in the truck. We have dog mode, so it keeps the temperature maintained for her, and it puts a little image up on the screen, and to let people know if they look in and see a dog that, you know, it's air conditioning set to 68. My owners will be back soon, or something like that. And then we have camera inside that we can check on her through the app, which makes it really cool. So we use dog mode darn near every day, just because she does so well in the truck. She doesn't like to be left in the camper, but the truck she has no problems with. And the dog park we went to was called Waxahachie Dog Park, maybe, if I'm saying that right. A pretty good size. It wasn't far. It was just like 3 or 4 miles, I think, from the campground. Lily had some fun. Was able to do some running. Yeah, but it's cool. That little one's not going to do it for you in the back of this campground. Just down the road a few miles, you'll be able to get your dog to run it out a little bit. It wasn't super packed, but there was probably 6 or 7 other dogs and their owners with there. But I think, you know, just looking at this as a whole overall, we had a great stay in Fort Myers Beach. This campground, I would definitely recommend staying here, and I understand why people are there for the winter months. We talked to a lot of really nice people down there. Great amenities, $39 price tag a month or a day. That's ridiculous compared to what we've seen the last handful of months. I'm not sure, like I said, if those prices will stay, if that's just to get some people in the door, or they, you know, fill some of these little temporary spots, and they may raise up since the hurricanes further in the past. But the staff was great. The other people staying there long term were great. We met a lot of really nice people. Highly recommend this place. But up next, we're going to continue our trip up the west coast of Florida, continuing on Route 41 by preference to Sarasota. We do stay at another Sun's Retreat park, but this place is gigantic. It is huge. There's a ton of people here full-time. There's a ton of people here seasonal. There's like a little city. This place is that big, and they've got a little bit of everything. So looking forward to getting that one out too. But yeah, if you're still with me, I appreciate it. Appreciate you watching. I'll work on our trip to Sarasota soon, and see you on the next one. Thanks.